What's up? My name is Eric Butler. This channel is called Report and Opine. I am back, and this is Scott Wiener's Instagram account, the creepiest man in all of American politics as far as I'm concerned, and he just will not stop. So as long as he keeps pushing his nonsense, I'm going to do the exact opposite. Of course, he has the pronouns in his bio: California State Senator, Chair Housing Committee, former Chair Legislative LGBTQ Caucus. Who knows what they're up to? Despicable. Housing, transit, climate, criminal justice reform, Democrat, and then I guess maybe a rainbow flag and a Star of David. So he's got all the buzzwords here: LGBT, barbecue, transit, climate change. I mean, this is all absolute nonsense. And I am genuinely curious to know if this grown man actually believes the stuff that he's pushing out. And this is a question I ask myself constantly. Do these people really believe it, or do they know that it's all just manipulative nonsense to gain power, control, and of course, money, right? I mean, there's no way that this guy in, his late 40s or 50s or however old he is really believing half. He can't even believe a fraction of this stuff, because even to get this far in life, you have to realize that there is some reality. So if you look at his recent posts, I mean, like I said, I've talked about this guy before, but he just, as long as he's going to keep going, I got to keep going. But you see him with the drag queens here, or at least one drag queen, I should say, and then some other weirdo on the right. As more and more states ban books and drag queens, we celebrated both at San Francisco Public Library. Hashtag Night of Ideas. Yes to books. Yes to drag queens. No to fascism. And of course, he's gonna use these everything that if you have a problem with anything that he does, that's of course fascist, right? But I mean, he can't even fathom the idea that somebody might have a different point of view, because just by them saying it, just by them believing it, automatically makes it true, and there's no debate to be had ever, right? Moving on, let's see here. He's got more drag queen stuff, or I guess this isn't drag queen stuff, but Purim from the Jewish Community Center. I made an appearance as Queen Esther, so not quite full drag, but he's getting there, right? It's just nonstop. And then he tries to do reels. He tries to do memes and stuff. And they're completely not funny. And I don't know who's buying this. Who looks at this and says, yeah, this guy he's taking our city in the right direction. How is this possible? And he's obviously obsessed with the drag queens for some reason. Poverty and underfunded schools harm kids. Drag queens do not. Yeah, okay, well, I mean, how are they helping? It's just confused, because to them, confusing children is good, because obviously a confused kid needs to look to us for answers, and we're going to mold him in this weird, creepy facade, completely pseudo reality that we've created. This incredibly fake world where left is right, right is left, up is down, night is day, man is woman, all that stuff. So drag queens, he's claiming that they don't harm kids, but you can't say that while you're standing next to a drag queen. You know what I mean? Like, your judgment is obviously skewed, and that's why I don't know if he really believes this stuff. Does he go home at night and actually think that he did something good? I don't know. I hope so. I guess that would be less evil than him going home knowing that he's manipulating little children in the creepiest way possible. Here's him, like I said, he just loves the drag queens. Half of his account is just him and drag queens. And then, of course, he shows up at the Fulton Street Fair in his weird leather, Dom outfit or whatever it is. Last night, I joined the San Francisco Imperial Council, one of our very best LGBTQ organizations. At its annual coronation of a new emperor and empress, we thanked the outgoing monarchs, Brent Daddy Monroe, and Emperor. What? As so many states demonize and criminalize LGBTQ, that's just not happening. It's not. Don't invite 5-year-olds and maybe they won't demonize it. Yeah. Look, I mean, we have some truth. What kind of grown man wants to associate with grown men? So he's getting it. I support gay rights. I do not support your politics. Okay, yeah. I mean, so he's hearing it. He's hearing it from people on his own Instagram account. This is not some right-wing conspiracy nut job echo chamber. These are comments on his account. right? So people aren't really fond of this. And of course, he talks about this Ukraine stuff. 1 year ago today, the fascists, again, with the buzzword, if you don't like drag queens, you're fascist. If you don't want to give your money to Ukraine, you're fascist. 1 year ago today, the fascist Putin began his brutal massacre in Ukraine. The people of Ukraine said no and have bravely sacrificed everything to save their country. We must and will continue to stand in complete solidarity. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we just give them more money. There's a throwback picture of him. Environmental scorecard, whatever that means. It's all obviously a scam. I mean, this is a good one here too. Climate leaders, women's rights. Oh, okay. And you can see some of the comments there. Stop lying. This guy supports human beings being trafficked. Why are you allowing crimes? So people on a lot of his posts, people are seeing right through it. But it's hilarious because in one sentence, they'll tell you women's rights. And then the next sentence, they'll tell you that they literally don't know what a woman is or that a man can get pregnant. And it just never stops. It never, ever stops. California lawmakers try again to cap insulin costs. So he's going to pretend that he's doing something good for the people. Of course, it's all nonsense. It's all a scam. And I don't know. He's not that good of a liar. I don't know how anybody's still buying it. But when you click through the comments, people typically aren't, right? He's getting a lot of pushback in these comments. And I'm not sure. I think, I can assume, I believe that he's probably also deleting some. Just, that's just my hunch. And here's another one. He just can't get enough. Nothing like a beautiful Sunday morning in the Castro, spending time with folks in the community. This time celebrating the 40th anniversary of the gay games. Wow. And this guy with his pink beard and his white makeup and this is a lawmaker in California, right? This is a guy who wants biological men to end up in women's prisons if they just say it, right? Because with these people, all you have to do is say it for it to be true. But it's the exact opposite for somebody who doesn't believe it. So if a man in their camp, in their cult, in their regime, in their establishment says, I'm a woman, then you just have to believe it. It's true because he said it. But if somebody on the other side who says, no, it's not, it's the exact opposite. Just because you say something, that automatically makes it a lie or a conspiracy theory. And it just doesn't stop, bro. Psychedelics decrim is back. Of course, he wants to legalize mushrooms and all. Who cares what he's saying? It doesn't even matter what he's saying. It's all nonsense. Every single thing this man says is absolute nonsense. But he's pushing to decriminalize psychedelics, which some people are going to say, oh yeah, it's freedom and liberty. But they just want to control you. They just want you to think, oh, this guy really cares about my freedom and I'm going to make my own choices and I'm going to go eat mushrooms and shoot dope and smoke pot all day. And that's considered freedom to them. But really, all they're trying to do is make it so that you are too hazy and too clouded to question any of this. Another one. Happy holidays from the Castro Winter Wonderland block party. Where is Barnum and Bailey when you need them? Yeah, see, people see through it, but they continue to put, this is a good one too here. I love visiting senior affordable housing, which is so crucial for a healthy community. Why does the senior center have rainbow flags? Right? Are we literally talking about old San Francisco gay seniors living in a SRO or whatever it is? Our seniors have spent their lives supporting and building San Francisco. They deserve to age with grace, dignity, and stability. The doublespeak, the propaganda is just through the roof with this guy, bro. It never stops. And every time somebody calls him out, he just immediately dives into the we're racist, homophobic, transphobic. I mean, he does. He's almost like he's a robot, right? He would never have a discussion with anybody he disagrees with. He's just going to launch into calling you all the names in the book, even though it's more than half, 80, 90, 95% of what this guy is doing is all provably false. But as soon as you're not allowed to even have that discussion because then it all comes crumbling down. And it goes on like this for thousands of posts. This guy, I mean, this is what he's posting. Bro, you're not a college student. You're a senator. This is incredibly weird. And just for good measure, I do have these tabs of what some of the things that he's doing when he's not parading around with drag queens and on the beach topless with some other weird guys. State Senator Wiener's Recovery Incentives Act would pay meth addicts to stay sober. So that's in September 2021. He wanted to pay junkies to stay clean, which we know is not going to work. Then we have this one from January 24th, 2023, Predator's Paradise. On the grounds of creating a more welcoming environment for LGBTQ youth, which is already debatable because you've put that in their heads, right? They didn't come up with that on their own. State Senator Scott Wiener is making California a haven for human trafficking. And here is the best one, of course, sex offender registration reform. Now that is Democrat dystopian doublespeak if I've ever heard of it. Sex offender registration reform. Give me a break. Prompts death threats. So no matter what happens, no matter if he wants to lower the age of consent and change the rules to who has to register, I believe it is called SB 154, SB 145. I'll leave that. I mean, this is really dark stuff. You can go ahead and read that on your own. But no matter what happens, no matter what this guy tries to pull, he can still become the victim, right? So even as we're constantly told, oh, white people are the problem, this guy isn't, because he's got his victim cards in line and he's ready to use them at every single opportunity. So I said all that to say, does this guy really believe that he's in the right? Does he really go home and say, I did something great for my community today? Or does he know in his heart of hearts that he is a manipulative scumbag who is destroying California and attempting, I'm sure, to destroy the entire country? I don't know, right? Is it malice or is it incompetence? A question I ask myself almost every day, and lately I'm leaning towards malice, but who really knows? Anyhow, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, and of course, subscribe.